Hello students, as we are concentrating on greater than 100 marks in our NEET out of 180, my next chapter is semiconductor devices. After current electricity, I have given some problems also in the last lecture. Now this lecture, why I selected this lesson? Because it is also most important chapter in which very easy but some theoretical part will be there, so that we can easily learn. Those who are non-maths, those who are in very easy to do, some numericals, very small numericals will be there. Okay, so based upon this I selected again this lesson, and now this lesson also will give you minimum 3 questions in your NEET. So this is also good weightage is there, okay, in our plus 2 last chapter. Okay, so thank you. We're going to start the next lesson, semiconductor devices. The semiconductor devices, actually it is used to learn the final topic in this lesson, to learn diodes as well as transistors. So these two only we need to remember more numericals, but before that we will go for some theoretical part. So before that, what is there? The starting topic, energy bands in solids. As today's class is introductory part, we will go for some introduction about the energy bands, okay, some N-type, P-type semiconductor, all this we'll see now. So these energy bands in solids, if you want to understand, the solids in this lesson will take in the form of a crystal. We can take silicon, all these things, silicon, germanium. So before going to this energy bands in solids, the main topic, what is semiconductor? The semiconductor is nothing but it's a semi, that is between. So that is what between the semiconductor devices. The semiconductor devices, the word semiconductor is nothing but the resistivity lies between conductor and insulator. The resistivity already we studied in our current electricity. The resistivity lies between conductor and insulator is called semiconductor, semi. Okay, this semiconductor, best examples I can take silicon and germanium, which is applicable in the form of crystal. And we have to study about this crystal which is in the form of solids. We have to study the energy bands in solids. Okay, so this energy band solids, so solid we know already, it's a closely packed structure with some crystal lattice. Atoms are too much closely spaced each other. So in this silicon, all this I am taking, the gap is 2.3 angstrom, the distance between the atoms. And now if you take suppose a single isolated atom, it contains 1 electrons, and these electrons are having some definite energy level, because the electrons, according to the atoms lesson, electrons when revolving around the nucleus is having some energy level. Okay, so that energy level, but here so many atoms are there, they are packed in a closely packed structure, so that all these electrons which are in outermost or innermost, whatever it may be, they'll form a energy group, that is energy levels in a group form. So that group form like this we can show, and this group form, that is they are like a energy levels group, so we can take like that and we can say it's called as a energy band. So energy band contains energy levels of all the electrons and of all the atoms. For all the atoms, that electrons will maintain some energy levels. That energy levels collection we can take like a energy band. Okay, this energy band, each energy level, according to Pauli's exclusion principle in chemistry to come, each energy level will occupy 2 electrons. 2 electrons. Each energy level will occupy 2 electrons. So today we'll present our energy levels with 2 electrons, and this is called energy band. Okay, so what is it? What we started here, semiconductor devices. In this, what is semiconductor? The resistivity or conductivity lies between conductor and insulator. And now in semiconductor devices, we have to study about diodes and transistors, and we need to go over the basic concept of this introduction topic is energy bands in solids. In this, solids have to take in the form of a crystal, silicon and germanium. And now we need to take a single isolated atom if you take a single electron, but if you take a group of atoms in a solid or crystal, all the electrons will form like a energy band which contains energy levels. So now we will study about these energy bands, what are the types of energy bands, all these things we will see now. Okay. This energy band, suppose if I take silicon, it's a number 14. If you take electronic configuration according to chemistry, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, sorry, 3p2, 3p2, so 14, 10 plus 4. In this, the electrons are, these electrons are called inner core electrons. Inner core electrons. They are tightly binded to the nucleus. And these 4 electrons are called valence electrons. And they will be in valence band. That means the energy band, there are now 2 types, energy bands. We can take, one is valence electrons occupies one band, that is called valence band. Valence electrons will occupy that valence band, valence electrons. Suppose this is a valence band, these are the energy levels, and these 4 electrons will occupy like this. And moreover, this is having highest energy band. Valence band is the highest energy band. And one more band is there, that is called conduction band. That conduction band is above this valence band, and this is electron. These also contain some energy levels, but compared to this valence band, this is having lowest energy band. So this one I am taking EC, and this one I am taking EV. And now this energy of the conduction band and energy band of this valence band, the difference is there now. The difference is called forbidden energy gap. Forbidden energy gap. That means if it may be thermalic, it may be temperature, or it may be external light, otherwise voltage, like that if you give electrons from this, they'll go to the conduction band. From valence band, they'll jump towards the conduction band. So in this conduction band, the electrons will, electrons will conduct the electricity. Okay, and then you will get some holes concept, all this will come, we will study the later this one. Okay, and suppose if in this one, the forbidden energy gap, suppose if is silicon, the forbidden energy gap is 1.1 EV, an energy will present in the EV form. Okay, and now this valence band and conduction band, the difference, that is, this is the minimum energy band, this is a maximum energy band. So EC minimum, conduction band EC minimum minus valence band, that is maximum. That subtraction will give you the forbidden energy gap. So based upon this valence band and conduction band and the overlapping, that is how much the distance varies, and the forbidden energy gap, based upon these concepts, they have classified into energy bands in solids. Based upon this concept, they are classified into 3 types, that is insulators, conductors and semiconductors. We'll see that. If you see the tabular form, I have classified in conductors, insulators, semiconductors I classified. And if you see here, according to the property I classified, property, you can take the screenshot otherwise. First one is conductivity. What is first property? Conductivity. It lies between 10 power 2 to 10 power 8, and this is ohm inverse. Just I am keeping the symbol like that, it's a ohm inverse. Conductivity now. And this is for insulators, it is very low conductivity. 10 power minus 8. And for the semiconductor it is having 10 power minus 5 to 10 power 0. And for the resistivity comes here, this is 10 power minus 2 to minus 8 ohm meter and 10 power 8 ohm meter here insulators, and semiconductors 10 power 5 to 10 power 0 ohm meter. And if you see the band structure, the conduction band and the valence band, the two will overlap. The two will overlap each other, so that easily the electrons can jump into that one. And don't think that once when electrons are jumping here, holes will come. Usually when electrons will jump from valence band to conduction band, whereas in the semiconductors, here holes also will form. Why can't we get to holes here? Because we will not have any covalent bonds here. Because example maximum metals only, copper and gold, all these things. So in this you will not get any covalent bonds. Okay, so because of that reason, whenever electrons are jumping, the free electrons will be there, and this is sometimes partially filled, this is partially filled. Okay, and now next one is the conduction band and the valence band will be greater than 3 electron volt for the insulators. For the diamond, if you take for the diamond, it is greater than 6 electron volt. Greater than 6 electron volt. And now this is for conduction band and the valence band. For germanium, the forbidden energy gap for the germanium, you will get 0.7 eV for germanium, and for the silicon you will get 1.1 eV. And now if you see here the current carriers, so in this, who is the current carriers? Electrons. There is no need, no current will come in this one. And next one is this and all electrons and holes. Both will constitute the electric current. And this room temperature or ordinary temperature, if you take, conduction band and valence band are completely filled, or we can see the conduction band is partially filled. Partially filled. And in this insulators, conduction band is no electrons will be there, because electrons can't jump in this very long distance, greater than 3 electron volts. And now valence band is completely filled. And in this, if you see valence band and the conduction band, both are partially filled, but condition is greater than 0 Kelvin. Suppose if it is T is equal to 0 Kelvin, again the semiconductor will act like an insulator only. That's why I wrote here T greater than 0 Kelvin. Greater than 0 Kelvin is equal to 0 Kelvin, you will get again similar properties to insulators. That's why normal room temperature itself, electrons can go here and holes will come. We'll see that. Next, electron density, the number. Here the electron density will be more, 10 power 29 per meter cube. And here for germanium, if you take 10 power 19 per meter cube and in this electron density in conduction band, but they are asking in the valence band. Conduction band electron density I'm saying here electron density in conduction band. And this is 10 power 19 and this is 10 power 16 per meter cube. And examples, if you take here, this is mica and diamond for the insulators, and copper and gold for the conductors, and germanium, silicon, all fourth group element. Fourth group element, you will get the germanium, silicon, gallium. Okay, all these things you will get in the semiconductor list. Okay, like this we can classify the conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Again, by this, these conductors are of two types: intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor. Why they classified into two types? They can use it directly now, but pure semiconductor, some disadvantages are there. In pure semiconductor, if you see the conductivity, if you see the conductivity, so I am taking here semiconductors. There are two types: intrinsic semiconductor and extrinsic semiconductor, which is impure. And this intrinsic semiconductor, if you take number of electron density is equal to number of hole density. That is, number of electrons is equal to number of holes. Number will be equal. And in this, if you take, we will not get like this. Either sometimes you will get electrons more, sometimes you will get holes will be more. Depends upon the holes will be more, and they are again classified into two types, P type and N type. Suppose we'll see now intrinsic semiconductor example is silicon, and this silicon, it forms the last 4 electrons will forms the covalent bonds. These are all covalent bonds. Roughly I am drawing here, and all these things will share the covalent bonds. So covalent bonds will happen because of temperature. Room temperature, nothing will go outside. So it will be like at 0 Kelvin, electrons will not come outside. They will not go to even conduction band. So it will behave like insulator. But we are discussing now the T greater than 0 Kelvin, that is room temperature. So that room temperature itself, because of the thermal energy, that electrons will come outside. The free electrons will come outside, they will go to the conduction band. So that you will get the current in conduction band, that is, this is valence band and this is conduction band. So this electron, because of the temperature, electron will jump from this covalent bond and it will come to this one. But the one vacancy will come here now. That vacancy is called a hole. The hole is nothing but actually it is a positive charge, act like a positive charge, but actually it is not a positive charge. Why it will goes like that now? Why we have to consider like that means, suppose if you give any voltage for this one, any applied electric field, when any applied electric field, the holes will go in the traveling in the form of a direction of electric field. Electrons will come opposite to the electric field, holes will come direction in the direction of the electric field. So because of that they thought it's a positive charge. Okay, because it's an imaginary concept, a hole. And now there is a chance of jumping in this one. That is, this electron can jump into this one. So that here hole will come. Here electron will come. So that electrons and holes will be equal. The one by one will jump here. One by one, next to this one will jump, and here hole will come. Like that jumping will come, so that electrons goes on jumping. Only one hole only, that hole also will start moving opposite to the direction of electrons. So electrons will go like this now, holes will come backward. Okay, so because of that both are equal in this. So when both of them are equal, we need excess concentration in holes or excess concentration in electrons. So for that what I have to do, I want to increase the number of electrons, otherwise I want to increase the number of holes. For that I have to use extrinsic semiconductor, so that I can use the doping methodology to create this P-type and N-type. So this P-type, how we can form this P-type? When silicon is a pure semiconductor, this silicon is added with, suppose this is +4 configuration, valence electron. When this is added with trivalent impurities called aluminum, boron, you will get the P-type semiconductor. Next, N-type semiconductor, you will get the, suppose if you take silicon, when it is doped with, doping is nothing but we have to add in the, but if we add less number of atoms only, the purity of silicon will not damage. So I'm having aluminum atoms, I keep on adding, not like that. We have to add very less number of impurities, so that the properties of the silicon should not be affected. Just we are adding to increase the electron density, electron number density, or holes, number of holes too should be increases. So that here phosphorus, very important point, that one, we should not add more amount of impurity atoms, very less amount only, so that the real properties of silicon should not be affected. And here phosphorus, the pentavalent should be added. And don't think that P-type is a positive type and N-type is a negative type. The P-type, but the atom is always a neutral only. So don't get, the net charge on this P-type and N-type is 0 only. Because excess number of electrons or holes will be there, no problem. When you are keeping this one aluminum atom, it will replace one silicon atom. Just understand this one silicon is there here, like this silicon, like this one bond is there here. These are all important points. I am replacing one aluminum atom, I am replacing one silicon atom, and I am keeping one aluminum atom. So that the neutrality should not disturb. The neutrality of the atom will not disturb. Okay, you will get excess, but the net charge will be 0. So don't think the positive charge, so it is positive now, it is p type. If you take, you will get the positive charge, n type you will get negative charge. Don't think like that. The net charge will be 0 on the both the cases. Now we'll study detail about this one. So coming in detail with the p type and n type semiconductors. So p type, as I already told that one, when p type, if you want to form, silicon should be doped with the aluminium, so that this silicon is aluminum contains 3 valence electrons, it can form 3 bonds, but compulsory one more bond also will form with help of one hole creation. Okay, that is when you are adding the number of aluminum atoms ppm, that is parts per million, like that when you are adding, when you keep on adding this impurity, number of electrons, the number of holes will increase. Okay, this number of holes will increase, and not only that one, because of the rise in temperature, some electrons will come outside. They will go to this valence conduction band, so that here one hole will come. So one hole is because of this aluminum adding, and one hole is because of the thermal excitation. Electrons will excite because of the heat energy. When you raise the temperature, electrons will go into the conduction band. So that electrons will be 1, holes will be more. Okay, and now this acceptor, and suppose if this electron want to jump into this one, okay, so that hole will come in this, it need 0.01 EV enough, that much energy enough, if electron want to jump in this. So if you draw this energy level diagram for this one, like semiconductor, insulator, all these things one, this is valence band. In this we can see the electrons, and this is valence band, and this is conduction band, and we can see this one, the acceptor energy level, it needs electrons, and now the acceptor energy level we can write here, and the distance between the valence band and the acceptor energy level is 0.01 EV. This gap, the distance between EA and VB is 0.01, and this gap is average, they will maintain 1 EV, and electrons will come in this, the free electrons, and the jumping, that is the neighboring electrons, they want to jump into that gap. For that, so some holes will be there here, holes will be there, and that electrons immediately when they jump in this acceptor energy level, it is ready to accept that one, it is ready to accept the electrons. Okay, easily they can jump, and then it is able to accept that electrons, because they are acceptors, they want electrons. So aluminum is an acceptor atom I am adding, so that here these electrons in the conduction band will constitute the current, and in these holes will constitute the current. So that you will get the I is equal to IE plus IH, holes and electrons will come. Oh, sorry. These electrons in the conduction band. Okay, no problem. Okay. And next one is N-type. In N-type, if you see here, the silicon is doped with phosphorus. So one excess electron will be there. Here one deficient electron will be there. Next one is excess electron will be there. Further, if you draw the energy level diagram, so that we can see that this is conduction band, this is valence band. As it's a donor atom, so that it is able to donate to the electrons to the conduction band, so that this gap is 0.01 again. This is donor energy level. It is near to the conduction band, it is ready to give to the conduction band. And this average is 1 electron volt. And here so many electrons will be there. And here less number of holes will be there. Because of thermal excitation that holes came. because only one excess electron that will be going to the conduction band. Now how the holes will come? Because of thermal excitation, one electron jumps to the conduction band, so that holes will come. So here also electrons and holes will give you the current. Okay, like this we can conclude this introductory part, and we'll combine this p-type and n-type together to form a diode, junction diode. We'll discuss in the next lecture. Thank you, children.